introduction, I'm very pleased to participate to this very important forum and platform head to the Food System Summit. It's very important to speak about the pathways to sustainable food system, especially in Morocco. As presented by our dear moderator, I'm Ridwan Arash. I'm agricultural economist and statistician, and I'm head of the Directorate of Strategy, Statistics and International Trade in Morocco. Let me go this. Okay. So with this presentation, I'm pleased to try to answer three main questions as proposed by the organizers. The first one, why is food system transformation required in our country is important, and what kinds of transformation are necessary? And finally, I will speak about how this transformation could be possible. So firstly, to answer the first question, everyone, if we ask this question to everyone, the answer is obvious. They said, yes, we need change because our food system has limitation, and these limitations are well known by everyone worldwide. We have, in the same time, malnutrition, we have obesity, we have hunger. Our food system provide food too rich in fat, sugar, starch, which result in some diseases according to the World Health Organization. It could lead also to pressure and impacts, negative impacts on our environment. But let me be country specific to share with you the Moroccan experience. There's, in our opinion, the transformation of the food system in Morocco is necessary, is urgent need because of many factors. The first one is the climate change. The climate change, our region, North Africa and Middle East regions are prone to climate change effect and droughts. Let me be more specific. As you know, during the year 2019 and 2020, Morocco has experienced a severe successive droughts, which affected and highly affected the availability of water resources. And as you know, Morocco is a world leader in dam construction and in irrigation. And these 2 years with this severe drought, dams, agricultural dams, dams which are used for irrigation, has received only 30% of what they should receive from rivers and from watersheds. So this quantity is very, very low compared with what happened years before. So this very low gain of water coming from rivers and watersheds have made the dam filling rates very low. Also, we have only 40% of filling rates at national average. And if we get a close look on what happened in different regions, in the north the situation is good, but if we go south, and in the south region, which are important for our production, our exports, we hardly reach 15% of the filling rate. This alarming level of filling in these dams push us and to make a balance between should we use this water in these dams for irrigation or for urban use. This very, very low level in dams leads to a shortage in supply for the irrigated perimeter in Morocco, and which also push the farmers to use the underground water. And this circle is starting to be very damaged for our food system. This is the first point, and the second point is the growing demand as a result of population growth. We need to feed people, so Morocco need to produce and to make food available in market for every people. But with drought, with climate change effects, North African region and Morocco, likewise, we import 40 to 50% of some key staple foods. And these key staple food are mainly cereals and sugar, for example. And for cereals, 90 or 80% of the production come from rain-fed regions. Which are not irrigated. So with climate change, this is a very big threat for our food security. So if we don't change our way we are producing the food and the way and the agricultural practices, this share of imports could raise in the future, and it's a very big threat for, as I said, for our food security. The third one is related to agricultural policy, price policy, the support policy. And in general, agricultural policy has positive and negative impact as well. Let me give two examples. For example, the support, the support given to cereals in terms of price, in terms of marketing, push farmers to abandon some very important crops like legumes or pulses and crop and farm and produce cereals, and this lead to these farms to abandon rotation, which is a good practice, and this the lack of rotation lead to soil degradation and to organic matter degradation in the soil, and this is also a threat for yield, for cereal yields, for production in the future. In the same time, if we see the price policy in North Africa and in Morocco, I think they are the same. The low food prices, the food is not expensive, it's cheaper, and this leads also to the food food waste, and people didn't pay attention to food and they threw a lot of food. The fourth reason for this country-specific analysis is the present food system is unfair. We think that is unfair. Why? Because farmers and their families, young women, are the first who are subject to market risks, to market variability, to climate-related disaster. And this situation make the income volatile. They have a low rate of social protection, and these people are at the center of our food system. So we should take care of them and to be just with them. And we think that they are not fairly rewarded for the efforts they do in the food system. The food system needs to be changed also because is linked and influence all aspects of human development. If we see this will produced by the FAO, we can easily remark that all food and agriculture is closely or remotely is related to the agenda 2030 objectives. The food system change is important to achieve the 2030 SDGs. It's very important also. So what kinds of transformation are necessary? Mr. Halabi speaks about some characteristics of our food system in North Africa, and it's true, given that the agricultural sector in Morocco and the food system as a whole undergoes structural transformation thanks to the implementation of new strategies since 2008, and presently we conducted within the frame of food system summit national dialogue and subnational dialogue with all stakeholders, and from this national dialogue emerged new pathways that I can select here four key pathways for food system transformation. The first one is to put adaptation and resilience of production system as a top priority, namely the water use, the water availability, water management are crucial for food, rural economy, and livelihood in Morocco. So water is at the top of our priority in food system transformation. The second one is the link between health and food. During the dialogues, some issues has raised like one health approach, because animal health or human health are very related, are linked. We know about zoonose, we know about the antibiotic resistance, and all these things, when we put together vet, for example, vets with the physicians in this dialogue, and the exchange between them, the One Health approach is one of the pathway transformation we should adopt in this process. The agroecological transition also is important, the organic farming, and the change of consumer behavior, because when we speak about sustainability, we should speak about sustainability in production system, but also in consumption. We should consume sustainably to help this transformation of food system. The fourth one is the food waste reduction by the adoption of the dedicated strategy that aims to educate people, capacity building, and information. It's very important. It's specific to our countries because we have in reality two food systems. A modern food system where we find a lot of waste, and traditional food system, which is not very complex, not sophisticated, mainly in oases, in mountain region, etc. So we have the two type of food systems. And the fourth factor also is women economic empowerment. Women are very important in our country as worker, as active, as economic active agents in the economy. They do a lot for our food system, so we should empower this category of population. Statistics shows that women are not integrated fully in our economy. So what kinds of transformation are necessary? I can give just some elements. You have my presentation for the adaptation and resilience of production system. Let me speak about 2 points. The first one is Morocco decided to keep the investment effort in water stewardship. We want to pursue our conversion program from flood irrigation to drip irrigation, for example, and this program will extend from 600,000 hectares achieved within the framework of Green Morocco Plan, and to reach in next 10 years 1 million hectares irrigated by drop irrigation, which represents 62% of irrigated area. The second one is the mobilization of non-conventional water. Morocco, as I said, with climate change, we suffer and we are reaching the water scarcity. The water is important, is one priority. So we have to mobilize water by using new technologies like desalination to mitigate pressure on underground water. It's very important, and we start our first project in Agadir South region that is the Moroccan area which produce maybe 80% of agricultural exports products. So we start with the 15,000 hectares irrigated by water coming from desalination stations. We want also to work more on it to improve water productivity by revising the water service prices. Prices are important because water in these big perimeters is not paid at the right price, at the economic price. We should set quotas and build farmers' capacity to benefit from this technological transformation. We are operating in these perimeters. And a very, very important point that we don't give it enough attention it's the maintenance of existing infrastructure in irrigation. It's very important for countries who have this network of irrigation system. The second point I would like to address is to scale up climate smart agriculture practice. We speak always about water, but soil is very important. Soil conservation through the crop rotation practice. We should return to our practice rotations. And for that, we should reform or make an overhaul of our agriculture and price policy and support policy. No tillage to reconstitute soil organic matter, and Morocco is starting this experience. And we have today with us OCP, he is also a very important operator who is very interested in no tillage technology applied in Morocco. So to save more time, I skip to this second point, which is food security, health, and nutrition. We have two key points. We should continue to support and reinforce poverty reduction strategies. And how we should do that? Concretely, we have two examples. The first one is the generalization of school feeding program in rural area. And we have to develop this part in Morocco, in North Africa, and in African countries, because giving good food to our children, we will be sure to build a good human capital. The second one is the money transfer to allow people poor people to access to food and to access to other services. And we should also generalize the social protection. The second point is to start the awareness of the link between health and food at early school. For example, our diets become, now we are living this situation is not diverse. Is not diverse because in the past we eat vegetables, we eat fruits, but now children in school didn't eat enough vegetable and fruits. So we should return back to this practice.
Mr. Badwan, if we could wrap it in into
okay. Okay. Give me just 2 minutes. The third one, food losses and waste is important. From the dialogue emerged the need to develop a national strategy for food losses and waste reduction, because we have not today a clear and well-defined strategy to fight against this bad practice, and we need also to increase awareness among citizens of the impact of food losses, and that other people need this food. Finally, the women's economic empowerment is very important. We plan to integrate the gender dimension and more specifically the economic empowerment of women in all government sector strategy. And this is important. We should also illustrate the concept of male-female equality in school manuals and other measures I proposed in this. We know that food system is complex, is not something easy. It involved animals, humans, logistics, land, water, energy, and everything. So, given the complexity of our food system, the transformation strategy requires innovative, collective, and coordinated leadership and action at national, regional, and global level. Because of this complexity, we can't work alone at national or at regional level. We need new thinking to transform our agri-food system, and we need to change. And this is the importance of this food system summit, to move from incremental action for food security to a food system approach. And this is very important. Some recommendation we need together, and especially in the case of Morocco, to set a national policy action agenda. This is our proposition. That include set of strategies, but with improved coordination mechanism, because the food system is complex. It needs more and more coordination and strong governance. First one, improve statistical system, because we don't have data. Even if we ask our colleagues in countries, they said, yes, we have a good statistical system. And no, we haven't a good statistical system. We should improve the collection of data and work on this issue. We should repurpose the public spending and public investment to programs able to accelerate the food system transformation, like water efficiency, soil conservation, afforestation, renewable energy, organic farming, and so on. We need also to redirect incentive policy and support to reward good practices in food production and transformation by fund or support the transition process. And this is 2 or 3 elements important for this, our policy action agenda. And finally, just to give an example, Morocco, after the Green Morocco plan, we put in place a new strategy called Green Generation Strategy. This Green Generation Strategy for the period 2020-2030, and is formed by 2 big fundamentals: the red part and the green part. Green part stand for sustainability, stand for efficiency, stand for quality, innovation, green tech, and resilient and efficient agriculture. And the red part stands for human capital. So we should combine these 2 approaches to start and have a successful transformation of our food system. And thank you. Hello, thank you.
So much. Thank you so much, Mr. Adwan, for this comprehensive presentation. As a matter of fact, it provides us with it's setting the scene presentation. It's you elaborated very good and to a large extent on the challenges that have driven the transformation and food systems in Morocco, as well as on the approaches to do it and how to do it. By the way, I'm trying to summarize this comprehensive presentations. But respected participants, I think you've noted that water scarcity, the climate change is a main driver of transformation for systems in Morocco, as well as the huge food loss. And but the one good aspect that I've taken note it, in addition to the utilization of food systems approach as a way for transformation, the Morocco gives so much attention to the social dimension. We've heard about the reinforcement of poverty and supporting the consumer protection. All of these are very much important aspects. So once again, thank you, Mr. Adwan, for this comprehensive presentation. Sure, we will be expecting more questions at the end of this session, and of course, more summary should be provided by Mr. Victor Mugu at the end. So now, without further ado, I would like to have as well a continental perspective on financing for food systems from Mr. Mamadou Sisai, who's leading the Islamic Bank into the financing of agriculture in Africa. So without further ado, Mr. Sisai, you have the floor. Please go ahead. Mr. Mamadou, are you still here? I mean, like, it seems to me that she disappeared. Last call, Mr. Mamadou, are you around? Maybe in the sake of time, Mr. Fasil, are you ready to make a presentation?
Yes, of course.
Okay, so Mr. Faisal, I mean, it's a pleasure to have you here. I mean, Mr. Faisal is the Senior Vice President of the well-known company OCP. It's while it's a Moroccan company, but it's broadly speaking, it has presence in so many African countries. If I count, was it 14 countries? But more about OCP, and its approach towards food systems transformation in Africa, we should be able to hear from Mr. Faisal. Please, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Midhat, for this opportunity. Let me first warmly commend the government of Morocco for this invaluable progress that has been achieved through the national dialogue on food system. This inclusively involved all relevant stakeholders in identifying priorities and developing a roadmap to support the national process towards sustainable food system. And OCP Group is honored to have been able to play its part in contributing to this vital process. But at the global level, the challenges are really scary. Over 800 million people suffered malnutrition in 2020, an increase over 100 million compared to 2019. And our continent is the most exposed, 19% out of it being Africans, which is more than twice the world average. And during the pre-summit in Rome, a global consensus emerged that we absolutely have to redesign our food system, considering a new paradigm. And the new system have absolutely to be resilient first, particularly in face of climate change, conflict, and COVID. It has to be sustainable, protecting soil, climate, forest, biodiversity, and nature-based, productive, and this is very important, and malnutrition, and ensure food security for growing global population, inclusive, engaging women, youth, and indigenous people, innovative, drawing in new technologies, educating and training farmers, equitable, shifting the power balance toward farmers, particularly smallholder farmers, diverse, a broader range of crops, economic, generating a decent living income for rural communities, healthy, providing affordable and safe, nutritious food, financed, improving access to finance for smallholder farmer, and finally, ecological, sequestering CO2 and conserving forest and natural ecosystem. As long-standing partner of farmers, OCP Group is strongly committed to these core objectives in supporting the transformation of agriculture in Morocco and more widely in Africa and the rest of the world. And please allow me to give one of the programs that we work out in undertaking this support and make it real in the field. I'm referring to Al-Mutmer program. In partnership with the Moroccan Ministry of Agriculture, Fishery, Rural Development, and Forest, we have designed and implemented Al-Mutmer program as a multi-service offer to ensure sustainability in agriculture, using digital technology as key to multiply its impact. And the program reaches today more than 30,000 farmers all around the kingdom, and generate an increase in crop yield by 55% compared to the national average in Morocco. And hope that we will be able to work hand in hand with different government and the regional institutions to make this kind of program customized and implemented everywhere in Africa. I will stop at this stage, and I will let you, Midhat, check with the other participant and hear from you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Faisal. It's yeah, I mean, certainly OCP is one of the good examples of companies that they have that corporate ethics. So it's not only, I mean, of course, I mean, it's understood very much that all companies have to be profit-seeking, but for your respective company, you know, it understands that rule that it has to contribute towards the well advancement of the society, of the farming community. So this is very much respected. And as a matter of fact, we need so many companies like OCP in Africa. It's very essential. And yeah, we've seen from your presentation that I mean, OCP is doing so much programs in cooperation with the government of Morocco. to enhance the welfare and access to technology with farmers. And maybe I would like to say as well, it's not only in Morocco, but in so many other African countries. I mean, out of my experience with OCP. So with this, ladies and gentlemen, we have few minutes left. If there is any questions to our participants, please flag your hand, raise your hand. It's going to be our pleasure of our moderators to receive your questions. Any hands up? Technical team, you may help me in case that. Oh yes, Mr. Mamadou. Mr. Mamadou from the Islamic Development Bank has rejoined us. So please, you have the floor. Yes, please go ahead.
Sorry, I just wanted to inform the meeting that I had a very sudden power cut. And as a result, I ran out of internet. That's why I was disconnected. And I don't know whether I should have provided my presentation during that period or not.
It's,
so that's why.
Yeah, if you don't mind, if you can make your presentation in 3 minutes, so we can have more questions. Please go ahead. The floor is yours.
Sure, thank you. Let me just share my screen. The host has disabled the participation screen sharing. Can the host help me to share the screen? Can anybody hear me? Can the host help me to share my screen?
Yes, yeah, it's enabled for you. You can share.
Okay.
We can see it. Yes, we can see it. Please go ahead.
Okay, very good. Thank you. And once again, good afternoon to all of you. This is going to be a brief presentation from the perspective of the Islamic Development Bank vis-a-vis our best practices in building sustainable food system in our member countries, including North Africa, of which Morocco is part of it. And by that reason, Morocco is a very important member country to us, where we have one of our regional offices, our regional hubs, which is hosting all the member countries in that northern region. So this presentation is just to show you that IDB has 57 member countries, and we have our footprints in 11 regional hubs. I don't want to go through all this list, but you can see those regional hubs with the countries which are, under those regional hubs. Having said that, our business model is in this in 3 parts. We have a 10-year strategy where we use to work in our member countries, and this has some guiding principles. It has some strategic pillars, as well as outcome pillars that we use to work with. We also have what we call our President's 5-year program that we apply in working with our member countries. But apart from that, we also have what we call the Global Value Chain program. And the purpose of having this Global Value Chain program is to ensure that our member countries, particularly those in less developed countries, the smallholder farmers, the private sector will not just be producing without having any value addition, but by introducing a global value chain program, their produce will have some value addition. And rather than just exporting raw materials, these raw materials will be processed in country, and then the value would be there for the benefit of the producer. When you look at our agriculture sector in our member country, in IDB, we have an agricultural sector policy framework, which is anchored on the goal of growing inclusive rural economy with food security at the top and rural development. This strategy has priority areas. One of them is building resilient and climate smart agriculture. Just as the previous speaker was saying, agriculture under the current circumstances needs to be climate smart. Otherwise, we face a lot of catastrophe in our agricultural activities. With that, we also want to have this human and institutional capacity building. Agriculture cannot just be done in a rudimentary type of activity or in a traditional form. We need to build the capacity of those involved in agriculture so that at least their agricultural activities will yield dividends for them. We also want to make sure that we focus on market access in terms of their produce. Farmers are producing, but others will come and take their produce from them without definitely allowing themselves to have the access to market. And this just reduce them to mere producers, and then the benefit would be reaped by the middleman. Now, another area is to promote what these people are doing, that is inclusive and sustainable and integrated approach. This is very important in our strategy. Access to Islamic financing. Agriculture cannot be done without financing. But when we say financing, I think we need to identify what we mean. Conventional financing, we have seen how much it has destroyed most of our farmers in third world countries, particularly in sub-Saharan Africa and part of Asia. And even North Africa, we have seen it. With Islamic financing, I think we can overcome some of these problems. And finally, in this area, we must involve the private sector. Private sector participation is a key pillar in our agriculture strategy.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mr. Mamadu, because apparently we needed to wind up the session. We have been notified by expert, but really sincere apology for this. We would have loved to have the whole presentation. But now, ladies and gentlemen, before we close, I mean, I would, it would be great if we can take one burning questions from participants. If there is any burning questions, we can take it before we close up.
Well, thank you very much. I just wanted to give you the results that we would expect from this, and that is the creation of job opportunities, increase in smallholder farmer income, and enhancement of climate change resilience. So I thank you very much. I'm sorry for these time limitations, but then that's it. So we thank you so much for allowing us time, and we go back to the moderator. Thank you.
Yeah, actually, Mr. Mamadu would have loved to have the full presentation, but sometimes we
I think it's understood.
Yes,
it's understood.
It's understood.
It's understood. Thank you so much.
Yeah, most welcome. But apparently, I mean, I'm very much sure that it looks from your presentation that the Islamic Reform Act is doing great contributions in Africa towards promoting food system transformation. This is very much appreciated, and it should be the role of all other financial development financing institutions. So with this, ladies and gentlemen, any burning questions from participants before we close down on this session? If there is any hand that I can't see it, so apparently there is no hands. So Mr. Adwan, Mr. Mamadu, if you can turn on your video for the closing remarks. Yes, Mr. Mamadu, Mr. Adwan, yes, if you can turn on your video, excellent. So yeah, with this, ladies and gentlemen, it has been really a pleasure. I mean, to have this session. I mean, as you can see, we have listened to the voices of experts surrounding the different aspects of food system transformation from the public sector, from the private sector, from the development partner aspects as well. So it couldn't have been more perfect than this. It's only the one thing that we missed is we have more time, and but c'est la vie. I mean, we can't ask for anything that we want. But of course, I would not here try to attempt to summarize the aspects, but we have the presentations, and I'm sure that the organizers will have the presentations available online. So if anyone needed to have access to it, I mean, of course, it's a pleasure. And our email addresses should be available for any questions. But with this, I would like to say thank you so much for our speakers. Thank you. You've done excellent job. Much appreciated. And for the technical team as well for interpretation. Thank you so much, and thank you for our participants for keeping with us for this time. And with this, I declare this session closed. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you. See you soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.